Ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at Psalms 40 and 41. We're looking at verses 5 and 6 in both chapters. We'll start with 41. My enemies speak evil of me. They say, when shall he die and his name perish? And if my enemy comes to see me, he speaks vanity. His heart gathers iniquity. And then he goes abroad and he tells it. So basically his enemy is just listening to try and spew rumors and gossip and evil against the person. Many, O Lord my God, are your wondrous works which you have done, and your thoughts which are to us. They cannot be reckoned in order unto you. If I were to declare them and speak of them, there are more that can be numbered. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but my ears you opened. Burnt offering and sin offering is not what you require. You see the difference between the Lord and someone who is wishing evil of another person. With the Lord, he wishes good for someone. He wishes well to every single man. But for enemy, your enemy only seeks evil until you're hurt. And even if he comes as if he's so polite and soothsaying, he really is seeking some information from you to spew evil about you. This is the way our life is. And this is why God is different to man. Let's abide in the ways of the Lord. Let's try to seek good. And let's be like him and seek well for others. Let's remember the victims of the hurricanes right now in Puerto Rico. They have a very serious problem. And you see it in the news. Let's pray for them, and where we can assist, let's do that. Let's get into the boxing. There's a number of different articles here, and I want to just cover as many of them as I can. First one. Virgil Hunter says to the critics, Mayweather deserves his 50-0 for his last win. And he goes into his reasons for such. Shout out to Boxing Scene. All these articles come from boxingscene.com. This is what Virgil Hunter had to say. He said, if Floyd Mayweather broke the record, he broke the record. Why should there be an asterisk behind it? It's easy to say he, Conor, is not a boxer, but you can't say that now. He was an amateur boxer before he did MMA. It's obvious that he can box. You can't say it's someone coming off the street just learning how to box. And if you're going to be fair and look at his 50, then you should be fair and look at the beginning of Rocky's 49. Compare it to who he fought. Now, there are levels to it, but at the same time, you can't say any of Rocky's early opponents had any more credentials than Conor McGregor. If you ask people right now to name 5 fighters that Rocky fought, they couldn't get past Joe Louis, Ezra Charles, Jersey Joe Walcott, and of course I'll add in Archie Moore. But that's about it, right? When he was 35-0, he fought 3 guys with losing records in a row. And we've seen this with Julio Cesar Chavez. We've seen this with Marco Antonio Barrera. Remember we were talking about that? So, whereas Mr. Abel Sanchez was trying to put down Floyd Mayweather, Virgil Hunter, he is praising Floyd Mayweather's 50. And I'm saying this to say, Virgil Hunter, one of the things about him, he's very fair to all fighters. That's one thing I can tell you. Now let's look at Virgil Hunter's response in terms of people's clamoring for Andre Ward to face Adonis Stephenson. This is what he had to say about it. He said, well, Stephenson can only fight in Canada, and there's really no money in that fight. Nobody put up the money for that fight. And once you make a certain amount of money, it's only right that you should continue to stay on that pay scale. Stephenson was not going to bring that kind of money to the table because he only fights in Canada. That's what Virgil Hunter said. He wanted to say this, though, about the possibility of Andre Ward probably fighting Tony Bellew. Moving up to cruiserweight and things, that was a negotiation situation that takes time, and you don't even know if it's going to materialize. That was open to us. Either move up in weight and fight somebody that could bring money to the table, or fight for less money. It was a good time to consider retirement since it was on the books anyways. So that's what we did. Alright, that's Virgil Hunter's response in terms of him facing Adonis Stephenson or Tony Bellew. And Floyd, sorry, not Floyd, but Andre Ward was looking to, he was actually considering facing Anthony Joshua at heavyweight. Because Andre Ward does want to finish off his career as a heavyweight champion of the world. That's his last goal. He's already got his goal of being pound for pound #1 boxer in the world. He's beaten a number of really fantastic names, and he's also making money. So, I mean, what more could you ask for? Stephenson's promoter, he had a response to Virgil Hunter's claim that fighting Stephenson would not be monetarily beneficial to Andre Ward. This is what Michael, who is the promoter for Stephenson, had to say. So he's claiming there's not enough money for the fight, and Ward would have to be paid less than his fights with Kovalev. We all know Ward was way overpaid for his fights with Kovalev. In a 50-50 split deal with Kovalev, on all revenues produced by the events, Ward would have got less than half the money he was paid. In fact, Ward's purse alone was more than the total revenues generated by the events. The reason he was paid that much is because the generosity of his own promoter, Rock Nation, who subsidized him with millions to convince him to take the fights. Ward's gains over the 50% of all incomes of the event were his promoter's losses. A promoter can't do that kind of business forever if he wants to stay in business. It's obvious a Stephen Ward event would have generated more total revenues than each of the 2 Ward-Kovalev fights, because it would have been about the same in the US and international sales, but the Canadian market would have contributed to several millions in PPV or pay-per-view sales, something that was not there for the 2 Ward-Kovalev events. But even the Canadian contribution would not have been enough to satisfy the needs of Ward, who would have requested, according to Virgil Hunter, more money to fight Stephenson. We know now that his promoter was no longer interested to subsidize his purse. Andre Ward was an exceptional fighter, a great personality, and a model for the youth. He brought dignity, respect, and was an asset for boxing. But he was not a popular fighter in terms of ticket sales and pay-per-view. As the obvious A-side in the fight against Stephenson, it would have been his responsibility to generate revenues in the USA at the level of other stars like Mayweather, Pacquiao, Alvarez, and Cotto, if he wanted to be paid at their level. That was not the case. On top of that, Stephenson is a much more complete fighter than Sergey Kovalev. Much higher boxing IQ, much better inside fighter in the southpaw style. Stephenson posed a much greater danger to blemish Ward's perfect record. The equation made by Ward's team was greater risk and overall less money, and the decision was made to retire. So it's ridiculous now to try to twist the story and try to blame the dangerous WBC champion Adonis Stephenson. The fact Adonis is fighting from Canada would only have been a great asset in terms of revenues for the fight, no matter where it would have been, not the other way around. And in a matter of speaking, that's very true. Adonis Stephenson, he has a fan base, a Canadian fan base he would bring to the table. Sergey Kovalev didn't have that kind of fan base and countrymen behind him. So Andre Ward would have made more money actually facing Adonis Stephenson than if he faced Sergey Kovalev, as he did twice. And his promotional company, Rock Nation, would actually have made a profit off of him instead of a loss. So I think that actually I go with Mikhail over Virgil Hunter. I'm sorry, Virgil Hunter, but I go with Mikhail over Virgil Hunter in that if you're going to fight Stephenson, you're going to make more money than you made fighting Sergey Kovalev. I truly believe that, especially when the pay-per-view kicks back, because that's money forever, you know what I mean? So I think that Andre Ward kind of made if that's the reason Virgil Hunter is giving, that's not a good enough reason. I do think Andre Ward was damaged. I think that's the major reason why he didn't continue. He also had the complications of Showtime and HBO and have to work out that deal. How is Adonis going to be able to face Ward? It would have been a shared pay-per-view event. Then would they be able to generate enough monies for the shared pay-per-view event? All of these questions would have been on people's minds. Do I think Ward would have beaten Stephenson? Absolutely. Do I think, though, that Stephenson would have been a bigger threat than Kovalev? Absolutely. Especially after he sees the fight where Kovalev has had some success with Ward in the first fight. But I think that the reasons that Virgil is giving for them not facing Stephenson, I don't think they're credible reasons. No disrespect to Virgil Hunter, but I think he's more. That logic doesn't fit in. Anyway, he's not really into the. I don't think Virgil's in the business side of the stuff. So Virgil's probably just talking from Virgil's opinion. I think Andrew Ward decided to come out of the boxing game, heal up, bulk up, and he's going to come back in the boxing scene as a heavyweight. He's going to be looking on the horizon for a heavyweight he can beat, and he's going to go fight in the heavyweight, you know. So that's what I really think is going to happen. Let's go on to some other news. Dillian White, he wanted to replace Ortiz and challenge Wilder for that November fight, November the 4th. All right. This is what he had said. British heavyweight contender volunteered Friday to replace Luis Ortiz on short notice now that Ortiz has tested positive for banned substances in advance of his November 4 fight against Deontay Wilder. Now, I have said this on Pound for Pound Boxing Report. I thought that Dillian White would be actually a credible contender, a real name, a guy who faced Anthony Joshua, who could face Deontay Wilder. I thought this was a good matchup. This is actually a pretty good matchup. The other thing I thought about was that Dillian White is right now the number 3 ranked contender, just behind Luis Ortiz, to face Deontay Wilder's WBC title. So if Berman Severo has to step aside money, Luis Ortiz was tested, positive for a banned substance, then let Dillian White face him. I mean, he's clever, he's a smart boxer, he's been in there with some of the, now current heavyweight champion of the world. Put him in there. And he's hungry, put him in there against Deontay Wilder. Let's see what happens. So, whereas, Michael from Pound for Pound Boxing Report was talking down that fight, I think that's actually a very good fight. That's a good matchup to see. Wilder, on the other hand, this is what happened. Let's just go on. So, Dillian White goes on to comment on this and says in a September 29th response, Wilder decides he wants to actually pursue Ortiz. So, White has been chasing Wilder for a while, and the door for a showdown has just opened in full force. Wilder was scheduled to face Cuban puncher Luis Ortiz on November 4th in Barclays Center in Brooklyn, part of a Showtime televised triple header. But now the fall has fallen. Now that fall has fallen, it has been revealed on Thursday night that Ortiz has failed a pre-fight drug test. Wilder still intends to fight on November 4th, but now he's in serious need of a top opponent. And White wants to be that man. He claims that Wilder rejected several seven-figures offers to face him. Instead, went after a contender who's old and would be coming off of 1 year layoff. I've been chasing that fight for a while, White exclusively told Sky Sports. It's a bit short notice, 4 weeks and a bit, but I've been training and I'm always ready to go. I believe it's a very winnable fight and it's one that I would take if we reach terms and the terms is right. Yet, Wilder's a coward. He wants to fight Luis Ortiz instead of me because Luis Ortiz is old, been inactive for a time. That's the only reason he wants to fight Luis Ortiz. He doesn't want to fight nobody who's young and who's going to come there to win the fight. According to White promoter Eddie Hearn of Matchroom, he has tried to get several high-end opponents, and all of them have rejected lucrative orders. Charles Martin, Lucas Brown, Jarrell Miller, we've offered everyone in the top 15 to fight me, and no one really has taken it, said White. There's not a lot of people left. Maybe Carlos Takem is a good one. I've had Robert Helenius offered, Lucas Brown offered, Charles Martin offered, Dimitrenko offered. That's 4 different styles, so I just had to get what sparring I can. Charles Martin definitely don't want it because he said to Al Heyman, get me a fight, I'll fight anyone, and he's been calling me out. He said no, and we don't want that kind of work at this moment in time. We don't want to fight Dillian. Alright, so Deontay Wilder says, I've asked the WC to let me fight Ortiz anyway. See? So he's focused on Ortiz. He don't want no piece of Dillian White right at this point in time. Deontay Wilder hasn't ruled out moving forward with his fight against Luis Ortiz. In the most recent video, the unbeaten WBC heavyweight champion posted his last Instagram account. Wilder revealed that he asked the WBC to allow him to fight Ortiz on November 4th, despite the fact that the Cuban contender has tested positive for 2 banned substances. Diuretics Ortiz claims were prescribed to control high blood pressure. The WBC won't allow Wilder to fight mandatory challenger Alexander Povetkin once because Povetkin test positive for meldonium on May 2016, but Wilder hopes that won't be the case this time. I just want to let everybody know I'll be fighting November 4th at the Barclays Center still. Wilder said in an Instagram video. Announcements coming soon. We'll see what is going to happen. We're trying to resolve this matter as soon and fast as possible. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm sure November 4th it's still going down. Now here's my thing with Wilder. He got a dude who wants to fight him in Dillian White. So, and I mentioned Dillian White. So, make the fight happen with Dillian White. Screw Luis Ortiz. You know, if he cheating, kick his ass out of the boxing game. You know what I'm saying? He's cheating. You know he's cheating. Go ahead and face this young buck who gave Anthony Joshua some problems. Let's see if he gives you some problems. You know what I'm saying? You train. You ready to go. All right. You should be ready to go for any style. So, face up against Dillian White. I'm saying, dude's hungry. Dude wants what you have. So, face the dude. You know what I'm saying? So, if he's going to face Anthony Joshua next year, I would suggest to him, screw Luis Ortiz. He's dirty. Screw him. Go ahead, face Dillian White, who you know is going to be clean. He's going to come clean. Okay? And let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. You know, opportunity presents itself. I think Dillian White is a good, solid challenger. You beat him. You knock his ass out. Props to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at Deontay Wilder, but, you know, what would be really annoying to me is you got somebody who wants to fight you. You're saying you're trying to make a fight with Luis Ortiz, then you end up fighting a bum. That would piss me off. Because you have the opportunity to face a guy who actually wants to make a fight with you. So, if he really wants to make a fight with you, get that dude. He's gunning for you. Say, okay, bring it on, bring it on, dude. And let's make the fight happen. Let it do what it do. Luis Ortiz, he dirty, man. Don't give this guy a chance. He dirty. He not supposed to be boxing. He's dirty. Kick his ass out of boxing. In the meantime, let the clean ones face you like Dillian White. That's what I would suggest to Deontay Wilder. Bernard Hopkins said, Canelo will beat Golovkin easy in the rematch. Let me say something. Because I think a lot of people are getting the wrong perspective with me. Now, Canelo did beat Golovkin. I believe, you know, in the least 7 rounds to 5, in the most 10 rounds to 2. Okay? No doubt about it. Now, it didn't convey across to the general public that way, but that's what I think. Now, even so, I believe that no time is Golovkin ever an easy opponent. I'm going to tell you why. The one thing I noticed about Gennady Golovkin is he got an incredibly strong mind. The reason why Gennady Golovkin don't go down with them shots is not because his body, he don't feel it. And he got a good poker face too. It's not that he doesn't feel it. It's that he's a guy who will not lay down. Golovkin, the only way you're going to take out Golovkin is if you sever his mind or his brain from his body. You got to literally knock him cold out with one shot. Clean cold out. Okay? Other than that, and killing him, Golovkin is going to keep on being Golovkin in that ring. That's how strong his mind is. Okay? He's not the super smartest guy. He's not able to make super adjustments, but he's still a little clever with it. He try and read you and try and throw a shot in between your shots and stuff like that. And he tried to, like, when Canelo's pivoting, he tried to tag him while he's pivoting. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really do much to Canelo, but he tries to. He don't get clean shots that way because you're still rolling it. But he tries his thing. He tries to get, you know, some certain shots in. The thing I'm going to say to Canelo, I do believe he's going to beat Golovkin and make it look easier the next time around. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy because that guy ain't going to lie down. Golovkin ain't lying down. And his thing is to come forward. He not good on the back foot. He's not good at going backwards. So if Canelo starts to back his ass, as Roger Mayweather would say, back his ass up. Back him up. Back the motherfucker up. You know, Roger Mayweather understands when you meet a bully, you got to back his ass up. You got to make him back up. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo The one thing that Canelo did, he did a lot of things well, but one of the things he did a little too much was circle the ring a little too much. Golovkin's always vulnerable when he's backing up. Another thing is Canelo let Golovkin off the hook. Like, you hurt him with a body shot, he wouldn't follow up with another body shot in the same place. So there's certain things Canelo can do to Golovkin that, Golovkin's never been really in a corner. Like, Golovkin got Canelo in the corner. Canelo can handle Golovkin in the corner. But flip the table sometimes, Canelo. Have him up in the corner, and you bang on him. You be the aggressor. You got to do those things too. That's something that Floyd used to do, and he did it with you. He backed you up in the corner and started beating your ass in the corner. And you have to be able to do the same. You have to let the audience know I'm in freaking control of this ring. All right. So let me just say, I said, Canelo might stop him the next fight. Let me just say, it's gonna be damn hard to stop Golovkin. He's not gonna lay down, and he will fight back. Even though he's limited, he will fight back. He will start to street brawl you. And when he takes the thing with Golovkin is intensity. So he takes the intensity up. He might not be landing nothing on you, but he's gonna take the intensity up, and you have to stay calm in the storm, see all the gaps, and land them. And you got to be in position defensively to either be out of the way of his shots or blocking his shots, because he gonna really start to rip it when he realizes he's getting backed up into a corner, and all he got is his offense. All right. People say his defense is good. It's better than they expected. I thought his defense was okay, but I mean, he was getting tagged up way too much. As an elite fighter, he's getting tagged up way too much. He ain't got no great defense. He don't even have a good defense, okay? He rolls some punches sometimes, but man, he's like target practice. He's like a punching bag, a glorified punching bag. That's what really Golovkin is. But he can take some punishment. But he gonna work on his body too. He gonna make sure his body's strong enough. So I've looked at fights with Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Them boys, they kept their bodies in order. I mean, you rip to the body, and they still keep on going. And like I try to explain to people in Pound for Pound Boxing Report, the mentality of a person is what really carries them. And this boy ain't gonna sit. He's not gonna lay down. He's not gonna lay down. So Canelo gonna have this dude trying to bring the heat all the time on him. And the only thing that keeps him from coming forward is those body shots. So, he does have to reset. And if you hit him while he's trying to suck in air and reset, you might have the opportunity to back him up and start beating him. This is where Golovkin does not do well. He does not do well backing up. He does not do well. That's why he tries to stay in the center of the ring and then push you back. He stays in the center of the ring, guards up. You got to drive him back to the ropes. You literally have to drive his ass back. And the only way is to put pressure on him. Land those punches on same spots. You land same spots to the body. Good places to land are solar plexus, the lower abdominals, and the liver. And those are Canelo's special shots. He loved to use the left hook on him. And you saw him lose the left hook almost all night. You're going to back up Golovkin if you keep on coming at him. All right? He will try and counter you. But once you got your defense up tight, you can walk to him and walk him down. And he's not good at being walked down. He's not good at it. All right? His only defense is his jab. He's got a decent jab. But to me, it was very ineffective against Canelo for most of the fight. In the final rounds, he got it to land a couple times. Some good power jabs, but not frequently enough to really do anything to Canelo. So, if I were Canelo, I mean, I beat him once. Now I got to beat him more comprehensively. And Canelo had to go... if the stoppage come, it come. Another thing I want to say to Canelo, he sometimes put too much force into his shots. Like, he tried too hard to land those uppercuts. He tried too hard. And when you try too hard to throw a shot, and you're not just letting it fluently throw, that's one thing Golovkin got. He got fluency. Just let it fluently throw. You're not gonna get the knockout. You see, knockouts come from shots that people don't really see, and knockdowns. So that's my suggestion to Canelo right there. Now, Hopkins says something that's kind of obvious. Everybody kind of knows this. Canelo has to go to the body to stop Golovkin. But he can't just be trying to rip shots to the body with all his effort and all his might. You're wasting energy. You got to let it be fluent, flow. If you look at Floyd Mayweather, how he throws his body punches, he's just calmly and coolly throwing the body punch, letting his body do the mechanics of his punch. Do the thing. That way it's much more effective. When Andrew Ward knocked down at Sullivan Barrera, he knocked him down because the body shot that he was throwing He wasn't trying to rip it with all his power. He was allowing his body to just naturally do so. When you tighten up too much, you actually slow down your punch. When you try to put too much effort into a punch, you're actually slowing yourself down, and you're tightening up your muscles instead of letting them just do the normal lever action. So he got to get more fluent in that, Canelo. He hits hella hard, but the timing and everything gets slightly off. You got to stay more composed, relax. Just let the shot be ripped, and let it really thud into the body. That's when it really starts to sink in, and you actually see the person's body move with the punch. You know, it cuts through the tissue and really does the damage. So that's what you really want. Gennady Golovkin got that down pat. So I just wanted to say that. This is all the news I got for right now. I saw the fights that happened last night as well. Shout out to all of the boxing channels, particularly NBT Boxing. Shout out to you, my brother. You guys go check out NBT Boxing. Also, Pound for Pound Boxing Report. We had a podcast recently. You can go ahead and check that out. It's really rich in terms of boxing knowledge. I love it. And also, we got channels like Barry Robinson's Million Styles Boxing that I love to promote, as well as Eric Bradley's The Fight Doctor channel. You got to check out those channels. They're really good stuff, and they teach you a bit about boxing, because a lot of you don't know shit about boxing still, man. I've been at this since about 3 years now. I'm on here, and still, man, y'all still kind of clueless about boxing, and that's never a good thing. So you guys need to go and be able to see what you're watching at. You know, people saying it's controversial, 118, 110. I don't think it was controversial. I'm a David fan, Adelaide Bird to the end, because I had it 9-3, and I still don't see it any differently, right? Because I call it like I see it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out also to the YTBC community. I want to just shout out to a couple of the channels. Coach Shelton Harris. Yes, sir. I see you, man. You make me laugh a lot when I go to your channel. It's very entertaining. Some other channels I want to shout out in the YTBC before I launch out of here. You got man, I just can't remember their names. I'm blanking out. I always go to their channels though. Oh yes, Northwest Boxing. Shout out to you, brother. I always see you. I'll mess with you. Ego, Boxing Ego. Still shout out to you. Still waiting for King Troy's comments on Canelo versus GGG. I'm very curious to see what is said there. As well as Sugar Cane Mosley. Yo, Ninja. Y'all channel is the hoot, man. Y'all, if you haven't checked out Sugar Cane Mosley, go check out his channel, man. It's funny as hell. And then you have, let's see. We got a couple of them. I can't call out everybody because I just can't remember everybody by name. But some of y'all channels, man, are dope. I love your entertainment. You got a different style and everything. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to get big. Don't worry on this YouTube stuff. Oh, how could I forget my boy? Shit. Oh, I forgot his name. Ooh, that's so silly. The Blackbird Sugar of this YouTube shit. Man, it's good to see you, my brother. I forgot your first name right now, but you gotta forgive me. You know, I always mess with him because I love what he does. His breakdown. He know boxing, man. He really do. Also, my boy who was on Dante's Boxing Nation. My boy who was on Dante's Boxing Nation. I always mess with him. He talked about how he thought Canelo won. And he actually gave a really decent breakdown where he was talking about Canelo trying to catch a breather and Golovkin kept on pushing the pace on him. And that Golovkin really actually doesn't tire as much when he's going forward as when he's going backward. I thought it was an interesting comment. I didn't really think about, but he does boxing too. He boxes and stuff. So I forgot your name though, bro, because I like your channel. I really do. I like your breakdowns. I don't always agree, but I like your breakdowns. You know boxing. You know. So shout out to all of you channels, man. I can't remember nobody else right now off the top of my head, which is so terrible because I generally really mess with a lot of channels. You know, you got Ali Sec back, Fight Hype, Fight Hub. Oh shit, that British channel, I forgot it. Joy Phelps, I can't remember. I think she's Phelps. I mess with her channel. She have an interesting way of putting across stuff, and she's never been biased. Like she doesn't really I like her channel, man. And she looks good, and the other lady looks good with her. And they do some really interesting interviews. Keep it up, man, guys. Keep it up. Y'all doing some good stuff, man. Some good stuff. Anyway, on that note, man, you guys have a great one. Looking forward to doing more videos for you guys. But today I gotta get out of there and grind and do my work. I work 7 days a week, and I'm about to get mine. So you guys have a great one. Do remember this: no matter what people say about you, you have the power to determine what you want to do. Don't blame nobody. Don't look for no handouts. Go get yours. In this age right now, it's probably the easiest age to make money because we got the internet. We got, creative ways of making money out there. Even if you're not fully legitimizing what you're doing, what I talk about is like, say you start a business, but you have to get a license or whatever. Go to the people you know, the surroundings, the people you know, or the community you know, and start doing it on the D-Lo. You know what I'm saying? And when you get big enough, then you can get that money to get the license, and you move the business in a bigger way. So I don't care which part of the world you are in. You can start business and do it. When it's small scale, you're not paying taxes and stuff because you're small scale. But as soon as you get bigger, then you can legitimize the business by putting a brand name on it. And then after that, you could actually start paying taxes and get your business registered and stuff. So all I'm telling people is, don't let anything stop you from moving forward. And if you want suggestions and ideas of how to launch your business, how to do a successful business, there's a channel I actually mess with on YouTube, which actually talks about that. So, I mean, you got to feed off of positive energy. You got to feed off of encouragement. Anybody trying to discourage you, kind of separate, especially when you have an idea. Try to separate yourself from them. Don't tell them about your idea. That's what I mean by separate yourself. Keep your idea to yourself until you find people like-minded who are thinking along those lines. Anybody want to start a YouTube channel, want to get their edit stuff so they can start putting out their YouTube videos and start making some YouTube money on this YouTube shit? Listen, y'all, I'm here to encourage you, okay? If you guys want to donate to my channel, again, all you got to do really is message me. And just so you understand, you can, when you message me, the reason why I had to do this, because I just had to do it this way. The information I give you is going to be about MoneyGram or Western Union. Now, wherever you are in the world, there's always going to be a MoneyGram and there's always a Western Union. And you just pay through the MoneyGram or the Western Union the money that you would like to donate to my channel. And then you'll have to have the specifics of my information, I have the specifics of your information, and we do the transaction. It's that simple. It's not as easy as if you were online and you use your credit card or whatever, and you pay into, like, say, for instance, what do you call that thing? Patreon, or even YouTube has this thing where you can actually propose what money you want to donate to me and stuff like that. I'll start doing some hangouts as well. I'll start doing some live hangouts with you guys. Don't worry. My channel's going to come up with that. I'm going to do some live hangouts, and we're going to do some stuff, man. And we're going to do some breakdown of fights, too, so you can understand what I'm talking about. Remember, I did a video on Hagler versus Leonard, and I broke down the fight and why Hagler, I thought, won the fight. And it was mainly because of his body punching. The only thing Hagler was mostly successful with was body punching. And Leonard, he just couldn't go to the body like Hagler was doing. And what you notice is, whoever goes to the body, the other guy, he can't always go to the body. I mean, I've seen fights where both fighters went to the body. Two of the fights I know about is Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran. And then the other one is Jose Luis Castillo versus Diego Corrales. You go and watch Jose Luis Castillo versus Diego Corrales. That fight was clean, man. And boy, those boys, I mean, the body shots and just the quality of work was just remarkable. That was the first fight. And with Duran versus Leonard, Duran was very aggressive, man. He was very aggressive. Leonard went toe-to-toe with him. He forced Leonard to kind of go to fight his fight because he was very, very aggressive, right? And Leonard knew how he could have fought him differently, as you saw in the second fight, but he could have fought him differently, but he chose to go toe-to-toe with him because he thought he was the bigger dude. And that was a hell of a fight. Again, I gave that fight surprisingly, to Leonard. I think he scraped it out. But because Duran came up in weight, there was a lot of buzz behind him. You know, he staggered Leonard a couple of times. I mean, Leonard did stagger Duran too, but he staggered Duran a couple of times, and people thinking about how he moved up in weight. Everybody was keeping their eyes on Duran instead of Leonard. And then Leonard's even body language was like, you know what, I lost this fight. So because of all of that, Leonard lost the fight to Duran. But I thought if you go and really watch the fight, and you give the rounds to who actually did the effective work, Leonard just scrapes it by. It was a 15-rounder, and Leonard just scrapes it by. I think it was 8 rounds to 7. 8 rounds to 7. Yeah, Leonard got it. If you're being fair. And Leonard came on strong in the latter half of the fight to take it, I think. But they gave it to Duran, and it's all good. You know what I'm saying? So, I haven't talked a lot of boxing. I'm going to try and get back on it. And there's some fights that happened yesterday and Friday night. I'll try and talk about those. I think one of them was with Chisora. Chisora won his fight against a guy. I think he stopped him. And then there was another fight with... there was the cruiserweight fights that happened. And then we had... try to remember the name. Nolito Donaire also fought. But I think it was like the week before. And we had also a fight with, trying to remember the dude's name right now. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, we had a number of fights that happened over the weekend. And yeah, they're not as, you know, they're not big talking fights. You know, we have fights all the time going on. But these were, you know, a little bit separate. They were a little higher level than the common ones. We even had a lady who fought and she stopped her opponent. I think it was Natalie something. So yeah. I'll talk about all of that, too, if you guys want me to talk about it. You know, I talk about all things boxing, man. Well, not all things boxing. I like to talk about fights. I really don't like to talk about out-of-the-ring stuff unless it pertains to a fight. Danny Garcia, man, he was interviewed on a whole bunch of stuff, and that was fun, too, to see him. And he was kind of mocking Conor McGregor's fighting style. He made it into a dance or something. It was pretty kind of cool. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I would like to say. Oh, by the way, Danny Garcia got... Canelo went. Oh, no, I think he said Canelo should be pound for pound #1 in the world, and his reasoning was really making sense. It's the same thing I was saying in terms of the new breed, because the new generation is with Canelo and Company Limited, right? Gennady Golovkin's like the old generation leaving. You got still hanging around Cotto and Pacquiao, but they like the last of the old generation. Now we got this whole brand new generation, and the most seasoned of them is Canelo. I mean, there's a reason why he's pound for pound king. It's because he got the most experience. He got the most fights. He fought the most Hall of Famers out of the new breed that's left. Not even GGG has the kind of caliber of opposition that Canelo has. So, I mean, and he's 27, right? So, I mean, Canelo should be pound for pound #1. That's my argument. Because GGG ain't fought no level of competition like Canelo did. Terrence Crawford hasn't fought the level of competition that Canelo has fought. You know, so it should be Canelo who's pound for pound #1 in my opinion, if you ask me. But it is what it is. You know, I keep on trying to emphasize this because some people saying, well, Canelo can't be pound for pound #1 because he lost to Floyd. I'm like, that's the only reason? And he's got some close fights. But I said the level of competition. Tell me, okay, I would say it this way. Tell me somebody on Erislandy Lara's level that Terrence Crawford faced. Someone on Erislandy Lara's level. Who is Terrence Crawford faced to Terrence? He's undisputed champion, and that's a great accomplishment. But really, who are the guys that he actually faced that had any kind of record of any kind? I mean, Canelo fought Erislandy Lara well, and he was WBA welterweight champion, right? He was the man. He was the... Basically, Erislandy Lara is the man at 154. He's the dude. Because he got names on his resume. Man, beating all of them, but we could question it. But he got names on his resume. Canelo fought him and beat him. He got a decision over him, right? Then Canelo faced former world champion Shane Mosley. He was down in he wasn't in his prime, but nonetheless, he fought him, right? That's a name. That's a Hall of Famer. That's a future Hall of Famer. How many future Hall of Famers Terrence Crawford got on his resume? Okay, he got younger cats. I'll give you that. He got some young, undefeated fighters in his resume. So does Canelo, by the way. But the point is, The most Terrence Crawford can talk about and claim to fame is guys on the level of an Austin Trout, if so much. Okay? They were undefeated fighters, yes, but they were Austin Trout level. They didn't keep their belts for very long. When you got a guy who's facing guys who keep their belt, Aristotle got beaten, but he kept his belt. He's a long reigning super welterweight champion compared to the others. Okay? When you look at Miguel Cotto, yeah, he was old. I'll give you that. But he had just come off of beating Sergio Martinez for the middleweight championship. And when he faced Canelo, he wasn't old. He didn't fight like he was old. So I'm just saying that I think a lot of times people are talking about these fighters. Canelo fought. Miguel Cotto is going to be sure Hall of Famer. And possibly all-time great. We'll see. All right? Because he's done a lot more than some other all-time greats. Okay? You got Floyd Mayweather. He faced him. He didn't win, but he faced him. And nobody disputes that Floyd Mayweather is an all-time great. Everybody knows he's an all-time great. Nobody wanted Manny Pacquiao to face Canelo. No one. I didn't hear nobody say, well, Manny Pacquiao should face Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez wanted to face Manny Pacquiao, another all-time great. He wanted to face him, but everybody always been defending Manny Pacquiao. He shouldn't face Canelo. You know why? Canelo too big for him. That's what they say, because Pacquiao's style don't got the defense to handle a Canelo Alvarez. People know these things. You know, they know. See, people right now, they would, old 40-year-old Floyd, they're going to say, oh, Floyd should fight Canelo. Even to this day, they would say that. And they would say, well, Floyd's bigger than Pacquiao. Floyd, Pacquiao, and Marquez, they're the same size. Floyd, Pacquiao, and Marquez is the same size. In fact, when Pacquiao came in to face Floyd, Pacquiao was heavier than Floyd. Alright? Floyd, Pacquiao, and Marquez are the same size. That's right. Marquez is shorter than Floyd. Pacquiao is shorter than Floyd. But they weigh the same. That's right. Okay? So anybody saying, oh, Floyd, he should go up and face GGG. Well, let Pacquiao go up and face GGG. No, GGG would kill Pacquiao. Pacquiao's too small for GGG. How could he be too small for GGG, but Floyd can face GGG? No, Floyd got that defense. Floyd got that defense. Pacquiao don't got that defense. See, if you know boxing, you understand what I'm saying. Defense gives you options. Canelo can fight. That's why Canelo said GGG can be beaten several different ways. He knows because he's got defense. Canelo got defense. So he's got a lot of options. When GGG is mounting his assault, Canelo knows he can block everything that GGG has, or he knows how to move in a certain way so that GGG is going to be missing, and he'll be countering GGG. See what I'm saying? So Canelo got that defense. That makes a big difference. And the defense Canelo got is better than the defense of everybody at the 160-pound division. It's better than everybody in the 160-pound division. And that's a huge advantage Canelo has over everybody, including Danny Jacobs. Now everybody like, well, I don't know if Danny Jacobs can knock out Canelo. Danny Jacobs said he can knock out Canelo. Are you serious? You don't hit harder than GGG. GGG's the hardest hitting middleweight. Maybe Peter Quillen's a little harder. But now, Peter Quillen got that snap. GGG got thudding shots. Canelo GGG didn't even touch Canelo. How is Jacobs going to touch Canelo? How is Quillen going to touch Canelo? They're the biggest middleweights out there. How Jamal Charlo going to touch Canelo? I mean, if it's just power you're talking about, he done already neutralized that. Now, the question is, can Canelo touch Jamal Charlo? Does he have that great defense? If it's just his jab he got, he gonna get hit. He gonna get touched. If Danny Jacobs, all he got is a jab, he gonna get hit. He gonna get touched. Their best bet is to make Canelo chase them around the ring. That's the best bet they got. All of them. Golovkin, all of them. Is for let Canelo chase you around the ring. That's your best bet. And he's shown that he can catch your ass. Because he caught Aristotle Lara, who's a guy that constantly moves in the ring. And he found him. Why? He went to the body. Slowed him down. You keep on going to the body, your opponent got to slow down sometime. Floyd's a whole different kettle of fish because Floyd had that experience. These cats, are the new breed. They don't have that experience. They got a lot of aggression. They got a lot of skill, but they don't have the experience. Guess who got the experience? Canelo. Canelo got a one-up on them. He got the get out of jail free card in the Monopoly game. And that's the thing that Canelo has over these guys. So any one of those guys gets beat by Canelo. Any one of them. Because he got that key ingredient, defense, and he got the experience on all of them. Including Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin didn't have that experience Canelo had. You're talking about a veteran in a young guy's body. You can't beat that. That's why he can move up in weight. He's not a true middleweight. He's not one of them. He wasn't a born middleweight that stay at middleweight. He's not even as big as Jamal Charlo. Arislandi Lara was bigger than Canelo going into the fight. These are things people don't know. They say Canelo was heavier than Arislandi Lara. Go check out their unofficial weights. Arislandi Lara was weighing 170 something when Canelo faced him. Alright? These things people don't know these things. See what I'm saying? Anyway, on that note, you guys have a great one.